Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Wednesday morning. It's Stephen Whiteside here from theuptrend.com. Just a quick reminder, we'll be taking next week off, and we'll post more information on the website as we get closer to the weekend. Now, in the pre-market this morning, things are awfully quiet out there. We've got stock index futures slightly above fair value. Crude oil is up a little, gold is down a little, and Bitcoin's down a little in the pre-market. We are coming up to a month end. Historically, it is a bullish time for the market, but even if bad news comes out, that bullish bias can help dampen any downward pressure. Now, today is Fed Day. We've got some other economic numbers coming up this morning before the market opens. And then, of course, we've got crude inventories. Then this afternoon, we've got the Fed not expecting a change, but of course, everybody listens to the press conference, and that's when most of the volatility happens, is during the press conference. Now, yesterday was a bearish reversal day, typically, and here's the 3X Technology Bull ETF. Just as an example, in a bull market, a lot of the bearish reversal signals get nullified fairly quickly. And so since this rally started back in April, one, two, three bearish reversal signals in which the market played through fairly quickly. Now, yesterday was interesting. Market was making all-time highs, and then pulled back going into the close. We'll have to see if we get fall through to the downside today. So far in the pre-market, it doesn't look like the market wants to do that. Now, looking at the 3X Technology Bull again, one of the things we look for, of course, is did yesterday's low close below the previous day's low? And in this example, it didn't. In some examples, it did, but for the technology sector, in a lot of cases, it did not. So we'll just have to wait and see if we get fall through to the downside. Now, what we didn't get was a buy signal for the VIX. The VIX is still on a sell signal. That would change on Wednesday if we closed above 1654. You can see the tether line on the midterm chart continuing to move lower, and the flypaper channel is continuing to move lower. So those are our 3 degrees of fear, and we haven't passed the first one, so no reason to get concerned about the second or third one coming into Wednesday's trading action. Now, yesterday, in percentage terms, it was the Canadian technology sector that was the big winner, and that was on the back of Celestica, which was up nearly 17% on the day. Now, coming into yesterday, we had a price target of 250. That was the top of our projected trading range on the daily chart. We blew through that yesterday and opened at 250, 240. So if you had an order in around 250, it would have got filled at the open at the 250, 240 level. And now we've got new price targets since we blew through the 250 level. Now, when we blow through the top of the projected trading range, the system does not always recalculate new price targets automatically, but in yesterday's situation, it did. So if you had an order in at 250 coming into yesterday's trading action, it got filled at the open at 250, 240, and then the stock continued to move higher from there and got as high as 287.39. So we have new price targets of 287.50 and 318.75. We also have to account for the big round number of $300 that could potentially act as a magnet and an area of resistance. So we'll just have to keep an eye on that. Now, what didn't work yesterday was the marijuana sector was the biggest loser in percentage terms. Most of the stock market world doesn't watch the marijuana sector, but we do have a lot of subscribers that still play in this area. And unfortunately, the 2 major ETFs came down hard yesterday and are back on sell signals, being led lower by Tilray. And Tilray, it's just a penny stock here. We closed at 79 cents on the TSX yesterday. So it is still a player in this sector, but certainly not a player in the stock market. Now, moving on to the Magnificent Seven stocks, there's the NASDAQ 100 making a new high yesterday, still closing above the upper channel line. That's also true for the Magnificent Seven ETF. In both cases, they generated bearish reversal days. They did come down hard going into the close, but not enough to break anything. There's Apple. Apple came down yesterday. It is back on a sell signal, but just by how much? We needed to close below at 211.42. We closed at 211.27. So if you wanted to wave that signal off and wait another day, that would probably be a good idea. Then looking at Amazon, no change there. And then looking at Alphabet, Alphabet made a new closing high yesterday. Then Meta has been kind of wishy-washy. Monday was a good day, not enough to give us a buy signal. And then Tuesday we came back down and closed right at the $700 level, $700 even. You don't see that very often. So let's see if it can hold 700. And then looking at Microsoft still closed higher on the day just by 7 cents, but that is a positive close for Microsoft. Then NVIDIA made a new high yesterday. We're trying to break away from 175. The low of the day was 175.02. So that's not really a major breakaway just yet, but 187.50 is our next target. And then on the TSX, we're still stuck to the 40.63 level, looking for a move up to 43.75. That would be our next target. Then looking at Tesla. Now, Tesla did generate a buy signal on Monday. Very light buy signal, of course, and then an inside day yesterday. So on Monday, it actually closed a penny above the upper channel line. So I'm not sure if you took that trade or not. On the TSX, it closed 2 cents above the upper channel line. And then again, yesterday on the TSX, it had an inside day. So no major trend to the upside just yet for Tesla. Then a couple of other stocks we follow on and include in this list. Broadcom making a new high yesterday. And then Shopify. Shopify pulled back just 1.57% in New York and 1.26 in Toronto. So no major breakdown for Shopify just yet. Moving on to commodities, we saw a nice move up in crude oil yesterday. Unfortunately, nothing going on really for natural gas. It was up on the day, having an inside day, still below the lower channel line, so not expecting a trend change there. Canadian energy stocks were up just under 1%. U.S. energy stocks were up just under 1%. And it would be very bullish if we could start to break out above the previous highs, because last time we put a lower high in July than we had in June. So it would be very bullish if we could start to break out above that. And then you can see the higher low in July. So we could be setting up here for a nice move to the upside for the energy sector. Looking at the metals, nothing going on for gold. Yesterday, it was up $14.04. Inside day for the price of gold. Very quiet trading for silver on Tuesday. And then looking at the stocks, inside day for the GDX, junior gold miners still on a sell signal, and inside day for Canadian gold stocks. Even though gold was down yesterday, gold stocks were up 1.44% on the TSX. Okay, folks, that's all for this morning's presentation. Looks like we're going to have a fairly quiet open, and then who knows what's going to happen this afternoon. Nobody's expecting a change in interest rates on both sides of the border on Wednesday, so it's all in what the Fed chairman says, not what they do on Wednesday. Have a great day. Next time you'll hear my voice is on Thursday morning, and we'll walk through the most actively traded stocks from Wednesday's trading action.
Thanks for tuning in until the very end of today's stock market timing educational video. If you found the content valuable, don't forget to express your support by hitting the like button, leave a comment, sharing with your friends, and subscribing to our channel for more insightful updates. Remember, in the world of stocks, timing is crucial, and following the trend can be your greatest ally. If you would like more information on how we can help you better time the stock market, please visit theuptrend.com.